Is it time for panic in Winnipeg with the Blue Bombers sitting at 0-3? Dalton Schoen reportedly out for the season with a knee injury. This on top of Kirik Wheatfall landing on the 6th game, a starting receiver, as well as Kenny Lawler. And while the Blue Bombers get Dietrich Nichols back on the back end, can Winnipeg's defense be better than they were, allowing 500 yards against Vernon Adams Jr. and the BC Lions in week 3? We have got so much to get to on the show, man, with some answers or at least some insight. Chris Walby, Bluto, what's your take on the Bombers right now sitting at 0-3?
I think they're a team reeling from injuries. I think it's just inconsistency. I call it lack of experience. That's what it is. I mean, when you think about it right now, they got 10 players on the 6-game injured list. You know, obviously, they're starting 3 new receivers, Ontario Wilson, Jeremy Murphy, Josh Johnson. And think about this. Jeremy Murphy and Josh Johnson haven't caught a pass yet this year. So it's that experience factor, knowing where to be at the right time, how to read a coverage. If it's in zone, do I run through? Do I sit down? I'm working with a quarterback named Zach, and Zach Collaros wants me to be a certain place. I got to make sure I'm on the same page as the quarterback. That's where the breakdowns happen. That's where the mistakes happen. The receiver runs the wrong route. Zach thinks he's going a certain inside. He goes outside, and you got a 3rd down, or worse, you got an interception. So, yeah, I think it's just a lack of experience right now. I know I said this last podcast, DB. If there's a positive, it's the fact they're getting it now rather than later, the injuries, except for when you get year-enders, and that's like potentially Dalton Schoen, which is a huge, huge loss, leading receiver for the Bombers last 2 years. You just don't replace a guy like that.
You don't.
You know what I mean? He's one of those guys, not the fastest, but finds opening, runs great patterns, and he's got great hands. So let's see if these guys tomorrow, when they line up against Calgary, and who are playing pretty good. They lost the last game to Calgary. It seems like every time the Bombers play, the team they're playing is coming off a bye. So it's just crazy, man. But Having said that, they're 6-0 in the last 6 games against Calgary in Calgary. So that's a positive, I guess you can look at somehow. But again, you know what? That's a stat that I really don't like because it's different team, different players. But it's going to be I think the Bombers have to be on top of their game, and we can get into that because, I mean, there's some things that I was really disappointed when I watched that game. I thought, my God. And they were almost in it again. And they're not playing great. When they actually turn that page, I think they'll be pretty dangerous.
The Blue Bombers, just to clarify for some people that maybe missed it, Dalton Schoen reportedly out for the season. TSN's Dave Naylor reporting that on Regina Radio yesterday. I mean, real big hit for the Blue Bombers. Kirik Wheatfall also out of the lineup. Some people asking, who is going to step up? And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, we'll look at their depth chart in just a second. The Blue Bombers will be inserting Josh Johnson, who I really liked in training camp, as well as Canadian and 2024 draft pick Jeremy Murphy, not a Winnipeg Rifle, came out of U Sports. That's two, I think, talented additions to this receiving core, but no Wheatfall, who had 111 yards in his CFL debut, week 2. No Kenny Lawler. We know how much of a game breaker he is. No Dalton Schoen for the season, reportedly, which is just a monster hit because Zach Collaros, Chris, I don't know, for my money, it seems to me that Dalton Schoen has always been that reliable guy, the go-to guy for Zach Collaros. And I'll pair that idea with a question for you. What are you seeing in Zach Collaros right now? To me, I don't think he's playing anywhere near good enough for Winnipeg right now to help them win.
I don't think it's a question of Zach. I think, I know in the first couple of games we were talking about the fact that, he didn't have preseason, but he's got so many, he's got 13 years under his belt. He's seen everything he can show. But when you're going with all these injuries, you got, new guys in the offensive line, they haven't gelled yet. You got new receivers every week. They haven't gelled yet. You had Brady Oliveira out. They haven't run the game well, run the ball well. I think there's a number of factors that influence that. So for me, I don't think there's anything wrong with Zach. I think Zach, if you look at even, he had his best game throwing a ball last week against BC, even in that loss. Their second down conversion was almost 59%, which is being the best they've had this year because normally it's around the 30s. So I saw positive signs. And I know the people are really upset with Zach. He's too old. Yeah, we have an old team. There's no doubt about it. But we're losing key players. And I saw the one comment, DB, in the comments that injuries happen. Every team gets it. And that's 100% correct. But when they start hitting your main key players, your stars of the team, that's different. I still remember, if you think about this, Saskatchewan a couple years ago, training camp, 3 players of their key players all blow their Achilles. And it was just freaky. It's freaky. Yeah. You go through it. So, yeah, you're right. There are injuries in football and every team gets them. But I don't know if I've ever seen the Bombers get hit this hard to what I call their backbone of the team, their star players.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Blue Bombers depth chart going into week 4 against the Calgary Stampeders. If I can pull it up here. Starting at receiver will be Nick Dembski, of course, and boy, is he going to be critical with no Lawler, Schoen, or Wheatfall. Ontario Wilson, the rookie, moves into the spot normally held by Kenny Lawler, and this was Keurig Wheatfall the last couple weeks. Drew Wolodarski slides in from this wide receiver spot to Dalton Schoen's slot back spot. Of course, Brady Oliveira back at number 1 on the depth chart. If you wanted a little insight into why he was listed as number 2, be sure to check out my one-on-one conversation with Brady Oliveira on the Bonfire Sports YouTube channel sometime. I think you'll enjoy that. Josh Johnson will get his first start of the season, another rookie that I really liked in training camp. I've been talking about him for weeks, just kind of has that physical makeup of so many successful receivers we've seen in this league. And Jeremy Murphy, the Canadian second-year player, starting at wideout with Wolodarski moving over. The offensive, here's the thing, Chris, this is my take. Okay. Talking to Adam Bighill about this, talking to Mike O'Shea about this, injuries happen, but when your quarterback is healthy, your offensive line is healthy, your reigning West Division MOP running back is healthy, your best players on defense, Willie Jefferson, Adam Bighill, Kyrie Wilson, Retta Cramdy, and Dietrich Nichols back in the lineup. These guys are all healthy. Evan Holm, Brandon Alexander, all these guys are healthy. Your quarterback is healthy. Why should injuries be an excuse for this team?
Come on, man. Give yourself a slap on the head. You know that they're going to have injuries that are going to affect it. I mean, you're talking about Brandon Alexander. Has he ever been the player that he was? No, listen. Yeah, if you're talking about fans, maybe as they say an excuse, but we've been around the game a long time, and I've been around the game a long, long time, and I know that injuries can really affect the chemistry of your team, the locker room, everything. So when you're talking about that, you're talking about Evan Holm. Evan Holm had some rough game last game. I don't think he had a great game last game. Dietrich Nichols, absolutely great to get him back on there. But you look about the line. You got Ali Fayed playing at defensive end. I still say this. The guy I thought was, Jackson, Jeff Coat. I know he retired. I think it was a salary thing, my personal. That's what I think it was. I think they didn't have the money to pay him. I thought Jeff Coat was just a perfect compliment to Willie. And I don't see Willie being the same Willie. But they got Willie doing some crazy stuff now, too. They got him, they got him kind of just staying back and scouting the quarterback, especially when you had a guy like Vernon Adams Jr. who could run the ball. That's usually a linebacker who does that. You need to get pressure. And I think the way they're using Willie, if that's indeed what they were doing, playing a soft rush, trying to watch him, it's just got to be, I think you got to have Willie, take the leash off Willie, let him go, line him up over the guards, do like they did last year. And I know they're talking about this. Richie Hall and Jordan Younger, the defensive coordinators, are talking about this. But, I mean, I'm looking at Devin Adams is now starting in for Miles Fox. Jake Thomas is the only basically guy to inside. They've got some talent there, buddy. But look at the big plays. They're number 1 on defense of giving up huge plays, 30-plus yards or more. They're the worst in the league. They've got to tighten up that back end, but you can't always blame the back end. You got to get pressure. And you're playing against a guy, and I'm just going to talk about one guy, that's the last game. Vernon Adams Jr., to me, he's just playing lights out right now. He throws a ball, as nice a ball as I've ever seen. I mean, just a beautiful ball, and he gets rid of that ball so quick. But it's his legs and his ability to extend plays and avoid pressure.
That threat.
The threat, right? And that's why I don't like put Adam Big Hill. Make Biggie be the guy that watch him if he takes off. Get Jefferson just fired up and just say, hey, you know what? We know what you can do. You're the best in the league at it. Let's go. And I think you're going to see a lot more of that tomorrow. Willie and Ali Fayette, I read him. I was going to talk to Ali. I was going to come to practice one day and say, Ali, not all old linemen are fat. He made that comment. I don't like fat guys grabbing me. Well, maybe you're in the lineup at the cheeseburger factory. Let's get carried away here, buddy, because the O-line are pretty damn good, and there's a lot of guys that are in really good shape in the O-line. So I love the comment, but I hated the comment at the same time. So got to stick up for my brothers.
Anyway, go ahead. Mandy Moore fan on YouTube says, DB, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is using the injuries as an excuse. Fans may say the Bombers are 0-3 because they are decimated with injuries. But inside that room, nobody will ever say we're 0-3 because we're decimated by injuries. The quarterback is healthy. Big Hill, Wilson, Nichols, Alexander, Willie Jefferson, the whole offensive line, Brady
Oliveira. Why do you have 24 players? You got 24 players. There's no I in team. Remember that. There's no I in team. You have to have everybody play together. And you're right. They're not in the locker room going, oh, woe is me. They're about, how do we turn this around?
Right.
It only takes one win to get back, and I think they will. But having said that, with all the injuries at key positions, when you got 3 receivers, first-year guys, 2 getting their first start, man, I tell you, that puts a huge burden on that offensive line and on the quarterback. Now, I'll tell you what, I read a lot about Brady has to touch the ball. Brady wants it 15, 20 times. Brady might touch it 25 to 30. He doesn't have to run it all the time. He can be used as a receiver, a screen, different ways to get Brady. I think the positive in this is the leading 2 receivers last week, Wolitarsky and Dembski, are playing. And I love the fact that they put Wolitarsky inside. You know what I mean? I think it's a great move. Wolitarsky got great hands. And I think Jeremy Murphy, put him out wide, absolutely. But Wolitarsky, I think, is very much similar to Schoen. They're about the same speed, and both have great hands. No, they got good speed. I mean, again, this is, I know this. I don't care if a guy runs a 4.5 and a 4.7. I mean, think about that receiver.
Dalton Schoen is a better route runner, and I think he's got more of a deep threat with his speed.
But I think it's smarter for the Bombers to move Drew inside than to keep him outside.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And so I think that's a good point. Buck Pierce, smart job doing that.
What will it take for Winnipeg to get things going on offense? Some people in the live chat. Great to see everybody. And thanks to everybody who joined us in the raid from Winnipeg Sports Talk, who are live down at the NHL awards and the draft coming up in Las Vegas. But thanks for joining us, getting you set for Bombers Stampeders Saturday night in Calgary. Of course, we'll get our post-game show live moments after that game. So be sure to come back to Bonfire Sports on YouTube to find your live post-game show. Everybody seems to pop in. It's great to see that on Game Day After Dark. How will Winnipeg get the offense going? Well, if your quarterback is struggling, the receiving core is decimated. What did we see last week, Chris? We saw Brady Oliveira run 9 times for 64 yards, okay? He averaged over 7 yards a carry. Johnny Augustine ran the ball another 4 times. Chris Streveler carried the ball 10 times. Winnipeg is around 20 rush plays per game. They need more of this. They need a lot more of this. And when that run game is good, you know this better than anybody. When that run game is good and effective and physical, the pass game then opens up. And those passes from Zach Collaros don't need to be so on the money.
But I don't want my leading rusher to be Streveler.
Yeah.
I don't want Streveler to be the guy that carries the ball the most. I want Brady to have that many carries. Streveler, opportunity, absolutely. I'm still waiting for Streveler to throw the football on a 3rd and 1 or something. I believe he will. I thought he predicted last week. I would have lost my money on that, but I would have put money on it that he would have done it last week. They did do some things which we'll show later. And you did a fantastic job of putting some clips together, which I really like, showing how Streveler can be effective.
You want to do it right now?
He's not carrying the football. Well, if you want to do it, sure, let's do it. But my point being to end that, to put a little stamp on this conversation, the offensive line and the offense have got to establish the run. That's the thing. Now, watch this play, guys. This is fantastic. You'd rather back there, DB.
Yeah.
This is how you misdirect. You put a double tight end to the left. You slide your protection to the right. Everybody's looking at at Streveler being the guy to get the ball. Watch, they'll slide to the right now, and the back 2 guys block out, and it's just a misdirection to take a step over it, cut back. Look at that. Look at the hole. I mean, that's a beautiful job, a misdirection of getting the running back going the opposite way of the flow, and Brady does the rest. That's how you got to utilize this. Every time Streveler gets the ball, you can't just go run up the middle or him try to run outside. Now, you start doing that enough, the next thing that happens is it will open up for Streveler because now they got to respect Brady.
I want you to talk about this alignment, Chris.
It's a double tight to the left. You can see that right now, and a tight end to the right. They got 3 big linemen in there. There's 7 guys on the line. You can take a look. Stanley Bryant's in the middle, right underneath the goalpost on the left side. Mm-hmm. And then you got Liam and you got Tui in the right there on the left-hand side, man. It's just a great job. Stanley blocks down. Everybody's blocking down to the right. And the 2 guys on the left just kick out. And it's just a beautiful job. Look at that. Watch this. Keep going. Now Liam blocks all the way down. And 65-2, he does a beautiful job of basically opening it up and allowing this huge hole that even O-linemen that are fat like us can make it through there.
Let's take a look at another one, Chris. This a little bit later in the game, early in the 4th quarter, this led to a touchdown, and I'll just let it play and let you talk over it. But here's Chris Streveler lining up as kind of an up back at tight end. And it was enough of a distraction to the BC Lions defense, let alone Gary Peters here just refusing to let go of Brady Oliveira's leg. Little greasy.
Yeah. But you know what's really weird, it's always good when you look back at this. Look at the lack of respect. The lack of respect. I mean, the handoff is done quickly. Brady's got the ball, boom, right now. And if you look at that play, nobody respects Streveler. It's like they were so keyed on 20 that they didn't even look at 17. The 17 goes right around the corner and basically untouched. Look at Streveler. Watch this now. He's going to go for the left.
Here he is right here.
It's going to be a fake sweep. Now watch it. Look how wide open he is. Oh, my God. Imagine if they gave him the ball. And this is what I say. Armchair quarterbacks like us, we can say that might have happened. But he gives Brady the ball so quick here. And Brady, what I love about him, watch it just right through.
Absolutely.
Yep, good blocking up front.
I just wanted to draw attention to, okay, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the line and 3 linebackers. They got 8 in the box. Okay.
Yeah.
Watch. I just encouraging everybody. Don't watch Streveler. Don't watch Collaros. Don't watch Oliveira. Don't watch the ball. One of my favorite football books. Keep your eye off the ball. Watch the BC Lions defense. Watch where they go. The linebackers are frozen in time. You see them? They're not doing anything. Yeah. They're waiting because they can't see. There's so much humanity here. They're like, is Streveler going to take the ball to the right side? That allows Winnipeg to get a step up in that power run game.
I think
this is great play design.
I think the offensive line does a fantastic job of staying on their blocks, not only making contact, being aggressive, and I know they talked about the physicality, but staying on their blocks and allowing that hole to develop. And Brady, it looked like Brady the old. I don't care. I mean, if we get a healthy Brady, I mean, like you say, Larry is 8 for 61. And then, of course, Streveler, this is what he does the best in the league a long time. I know Calgary's got a Tommy, what's his name? Tommy Stevens? Yeah, Tommy Stevens, who's a 6'4", 260-pound quarterback. He's pretty hard to stop on 3rd and 1, too. But this has the makings of a good game. You're going against a pretty good Calgary team. But yes, I need the back end to be tighter. And I think that with Dietrich Nichols back in our secondary, and I think that, Biggie and Kyrie and Reddy Cramdy, but the defensive line to me is key. We got to start blitzing. We need to put pressure on them. Now, remember this, Jake Maier is not a scrambler, much like Vernon Adams Jr.
No.
But he's throwing the ball at 80%. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. There was a stat that's crazy.
He's almost 300 yards per game. Of course, those 2 games being a 32-24 win at home against Hamilton, and then they lost a game that was closer than the final score. They lost 26-17 in BC to the Lions, then had a bye in week 3. So they come in rested, and I'll also say this. They come in healthy. Their one-game injured list, I don't know if we can see it here. Their one-game injured list, nobody other than Trey Odoms-Dukes, nobody of huge
they lost
consequence.
The guy that they lost for the year, Malik Henry, was the stud. Yep. I think he was going to be. I thought he was going to be one of the guys that might be the MOP of the league. He's that good. To lose him for the year, that's another big thing. So they've lost Malik Henry. We potentially have lost Dalton Schoen. It's going to be crazy. But I think the biggest thing is when you look at Jake Maier, he's only had 1 interception in his last 178 passes. He's making smart decisions. The other thing is he hasn't beaten Winnipeg. He's 0-5 lifetime versus the Bombers. So there's these little nuggets that you think, he would love to get that off his shoulder. He'd love to get that off his shoulder. He'd like to get a win. But it's going to be a great game. But I swear to God, Pitts is going to be a big thing. I mean, I'm talking about the offensive lineman and defensive
lineman. Not Alan
lineman.
Pitts, former or legendary receiver.
Another legendary star. But they got 2 guys that didn't play in the preseason, and there they are, the 2 ends. Julian Hauser, 1 end, and James Vaughters. These guys can get after the quarterback. So then you got
don't
Mike
sleep
Rose.
on Mike Rose. Don't
Mike
sleep
Rose
on Mike Rose.
Good.
That guy is a stud.
And Michael Cameron Judge, Dozier, Brent Dozier. They got a heck of their defense isn't bad, buddy. Their defense is not bad.
Really good. Well, and then I'll continue on and go to the back end. We got our old pal Demario Houston. We got Kobe Williams at halfback. You got Rodney Randall Jr. at halfback, and then former NFLer back in the CFL now for the last couple of years, Trey Roberson, who went CFL, NFL, CFL, to just give you a gauge of what type of player he is, perennially in the conversation as an all-star.
He struggled after he came back from the NFL. Just seemed like he wasn't the same player. And then that's why
they got him on. They got him on the field side now.
But they got a guy that's starting at safety, Malcolm Thompson, who has spent some time with the Bombers. Right. He was with the Bombers for a bit of time. So he's getting his first start. The guy they're really excited about is the guy behind Randall at that halfback, in Ben Labrosse. He's their first draft pick, and they really, really like this kid. They're just waiting for an opportunity for him to develop, get some experience, and they put him in the starting.
6-foot DB.
Yeah. And speaking about size, I'm going to kind of digress here, my friend. I saw there's another supplemental draft, and that's a draft where they find a player who could have played at any program whose parents have ties or were born
They're
in
suddenly a
Canada.
Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Canadian. He's played 5 years or whatever in NDSU, won 3 national champions. But the big thing is his name is Zach Mathis, 6'7". This is a huge target, and Canadian. And I know Edmonton, because of the fact of their record, has first option to get rid of a draft pick for next year and take this kid. Bombers, I don't know if they're going to get a shot because they went to the Grey Cup. They're down the list. And that's unfortunate because, boy, could they use a guy like that. And the only reason I bring it up is that DB was because he's a receiver.
Yeah. Do want to mention our good friends at Scotswood Links. Look, if your course is wet in the city, go check them out. Just about 25 minutes west of the city from McGilvery in the perimeter. Scotswood Links, gorgeous golf course in rural Manitoba, Prairie Meadow front 9, Prairie Forest back 9, challenging. Everything is in excellent shape. Beautiful new clubhouse. You can find more information, scotswoodlinks.com. That's Scotswood with 1 T. And if you go to scotswoodlinks.com/bonfire, you'll get a discount on a foursome pack with power carts. But just great people out there, awesome food, beautiful patios, gorgeous new clubhouse. I wish I had, well, you know what? Here, let's see if I got a shot of the clubhouse here. You can get your have your wedding and events there.
Wedding. Are you getting married again? Oh my God, buddy.
Again?
Oh. Well, sorry. I thought you were married before.
Well, you know me.
Yeah.
The golf course is absolutely gorgeous. Be sure to check them out. scotswoodlinks.com. Just a gorgeous course, and you will not regret going out there to check them out. Chris, let's continue to dissect, I think, what is the biggest story of this Blue Bombers team this season, and that is the injuries. New to the 6-game injured list, Keurig Wheatfall,
hamstring,
who was a starting receiver beginning in week 2 following the injury to Kenny Lawler. Dalton Schoen, reportedly out for the season with a knee injury, that according to TSN's Dave Naylor. And look, we all know how good Dave Naylor is at his job, an outstanding reporter. Fully, there's zero reason to believe that he is mistaken on this. Dalton Schoen out for the season with a knee injury. Jamal Parker, the defensive back who started in the Grey Cup, injured in training camp. I don't know if we're going to see him again this year. Same with Cameron Lawson, who had surgery on his leg, Canadian defensive lineman. There's Kenny Lawler, still recovering from that broken arm. Jake Kelly, a Canadian defensive back, now on the 6-game injured list, along with Nick Hallett's brother, Noah, on the 6-game injured list. Celestin Haba, who started week 1 at defensive end, on the 6-game injured list. No timetable for his return. I do wonder how long or if we will see him again. Tywin Garbett, a rookie defensive end, injured in training camp, on the 6-game injured list. My understanding is Garbett would have started over Celestin Haba week 1 if Garbett was healthy. Now they're both on the 6-game injured list, along with interior defensive lineman Miles Fox. He has got a pretty serious upper body injury, Chris. My understanding, he will be out a long period of time as well. So yeah, Winnipeg is hit by the injury bug, but when you have the talent Winnipeg does, the leadership in the room and on the field, and also in the meeting rooms and the coaches' rooms that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have, does it come down to intestinal fortitude to, hey, we're facing some adversity, we got to find a way to win?
Yeah, you know what, 100%, but you can't be doing more than you can do. And what I mean by that is you can't start doing, I got to worry about this guy next to me. I got to worry about this guy over here. I may have to cheat over. I got a rookie here. Maybe I can help him out. You got to do your job. And I think O'Shea said it best. You know, Coach O'Shea said, listen, as long as everybody knows where they should be at every time, every play, be mentally in the game. It's such a huge part of the game. Know what you got to do. And if you do that, good things can happen. If you start, blanking out, don't be embarrassed. You might have a bad play. Just get your head straight and get back in. But, I mean, this is what's going to happen. Cal Murphy said, for every rookie you start, you lose a game. So that's an interesting concept because we're starting 3 rookies and receivers now. But that was just Cal. Cal's mentality was, but I don't think, we lost players too. We lost great guys like Willard Reeves when he was hurt for a while. We've lost receivers. James Boyd, one of the best that ever played, and James Murphy. Everybody goes through this, in your career. But I don't remember a time when 3 receivers, 2 of the top ones in the league, are banged up. So they're going to have to pull, I hate to use the term pull up your socks, but they're going to have to really play a really exceptionally smart game to beat this Calgary Stampeder team.
2 interviews I have up on Bonfire Sports from the Blue Bombers practice week, a one-on-one with Adam Bighill and a one-on-one with Dietrich Nichols. I encourage you guys to check those out. Some really good insight from some excellent football players, but just as excellent football minds as far as the perspective that they shared. I asked Adam Bighill, should injuries be an excuse? And I framed the question as injuries should not be an excuse. And he said they shouldn't, because this is a professional football team. And everybody inside that locker room is there because the team feels they are capable of helping them win football games. That's not my
Well,
opinion. That's the opinion of Mike O'Shea.
Mike O'Shea said exactly to that, but he also added out that we bring players in an event that they should be a starter. You have to have that mentality. It's almost like a backup goalie. He knows he's got to go at any time, and he's got to be ready. Or a backup quarterback. Let's stay with the sport of football. Backup quarterback practices like he's going to be the starter. It's exactly what happens. But I'll go back to the same comment. Experience is where. Oh, Milt, he's too busy putting on the wig on his show now. You know what? I love their panel, but what is that? They're starting to act like circus clowns now. I mean, I talk football. I mean, you don't have to. I know there should be some humor in the broadcast. Milt doesn't need that wig to play. I mean, Milt could probably play. I don't think he'd last more than 2 plays because what the heart wants, the legs and the body don't follow. So I think that's one of the things. And I love Milt. First off, personally, I got to play with him for 2 years where he never said a bloody word in the huddle. And all of a sudden now look at Milt. He ain't shy. You know, they call him the prettiest guy in the league, prettiest guy at TSN. He always used to say pretty in the face, cute in the waist, or cute in the waist, pretty in the face. I don't know what it was. I love Milt.
Thin in the waist, pretty in the face.
Oh, whatever. I don't know. See, we never got to use that line because we're fat old linemen. Well, there we go again. You know what I mean?
Can I say something? As you know, obviously we say it tongue in cheek about Milt Stegall, but this is something I want to address because my Twitter feed and the live chat, it's so good to see everybody in the live chat giving us your 2 cents, asking your questions so we can get to it here on Game Day Winnipeg. People suggesting Carlton Agudosi. Well, Aguidosi's no longer in the CFL. People suggesting Lucky Whitehead, also no longer in the CFL. Mentioning other players that Winnipeg should bring back. Here's the deal. I understand fans' affinity for the players that they love, the names that they know, because they have made plays to help Winnipeg in the past. But the reality is, if Lucky Whitehead isn't on a football team today, there's probably a reason for that. Same with Carlton Agudosi. Same with a handful of guys. Everyone's like, where is this guy? Get him on the phone. Call him up. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form is the solution to a decimated receiving core or a area of depth that is getting thin, regardless of position, or a hole in your roster or your lineup that you need to fill. I don't think you fill that with a guy off the street. I truly believe you fill that hole with somebody who is in the building because they are there for a reason. Why wouldn't Lucky Whitehead be on the Blue Bombers if Winnipeg felt he was their best option for that? What's your take on that, Chris?
Exactly. Look at BC 3-1. They let go Lemon, the Lemonator, Sean Lemon. They let him go. And then, it's just a bunch of other guys that when they feel like the value for what they're getting and what they're paying doesn't balance out, and they got young guys coming in, and I know it's part of a salary cap league. I know the salary has a lot to do with some of the decisions, but having said that, I agree with Coach O'Shea and everybody and all the scouts, Danny McManus and all the scouts. They're bringing guys in who they like and think they have a potential to start and play in this league. So a lot of times it's just as one door closes, another one opens, right? Opportunity knocks. Now they'll tell you exactly. This is the best time for these guys. I mean, think about Jerry Murphy. Murphy and I believe Johnson. I think they only played an exhibition season, right?
Yeah.
So they had a couple. I know how many? They got 6, 7 snaps or 8 snaps, whatever. Now they're into the lights for real. The bullets are flying for real. Let's see what he does. All it takes is a guy to start making some catches, and they go, "Who is this guy?" And now he's the guy. Everybody starts somewhere, right? We all start somewhere.
When the Blue Bombers decided to move on from Rashid Bailey, people said, this is going to be a mistake. Look, I get Rashid caught a touchdown in week 1 for the Argos, but understand that Kenny Lawler was a practice roster guy who made the team a year and a half after coming to Winnipeg. Dalton Schoen, freak of nature that won a starting job out of training camp, never being in Canada before in his life. But the next Kenny Lawler could be Josh Johnson, could be Ontario Wilson, could be Keurig Wheatfall. The next Drew Wolotarski could be Jeremy Murphy starting in his spot tonight. Could be the next Nick Dembski. I understand those are like the cream of the crop type guys, but especially the Americans, you don't know who they are until you see them under the lights with live bullets. And I look at Ontario Wilson as it's do or die. It's put up or shut up time for Ontario Wilson as he enters his 4th game in the Blue Bombers starting lineup at receiver. He needs to produce. He needs to catch more of the balls thrown his way. Of course, Zach Collaros, in my opinion, needs to be better. I think he will be better based on so many intangibles there. Josh Johnson, I have been champing at the bit to see this guy in the Blue Bombers lineup. Number 84 on Saturday night should be really good to watch him. But they got to lean on Dembski. They got to lean on Wolotarski. They got to lean on Collaros and Streveler and Brady Oliveira and that offensive line, who are all healthy. They're all good to go. If you got a healthy O-line, a healthy quarterback, and you got healthy players like Dembski and Oliveira, I think there's no excuse. Winnipeg needs to put up more points than they have in these You and I got into it last week on the pregame show, Chris. We got into it because we were talking about 30 points should win you a game. The Bombers have not scored 30 points this year. If they can score 30 in Calgary and the defense can keep Jake Maier from throwing for 300 plus yards, right about what he's averaging right now through his first 2 games, I think Winnipeg can end this losing streak to start the season.
My issue is to get off to a good start. The Bombers are averaging 3 points in the first quarter in all 3 games. 3 points. They get behind early, and you don't want to get that, oh, woe is me mentality. Here we go again, especially young guys who haven't been with this club, who haven't seen anything. The Bombers have never had to really go through an adversity. This is a team. I looked at the stat and I thought, I'm not a stat guy, but this one jumped out at me.
Bombers you are.
Bombers are 55-8. 55 wins, 8 losses when they're leading after the first quarter. That just echoes. It exemplifies why they need to get off the slow starts are killing this team. You can't go in there and start punting 3 down, punt. You can't just be living off field goals. I still haven't seen many deep balls, and I think we lost what's his name when Kenny Lawler was the last deep ball. I know that we threw Nick Dembski one just off his fingertips last week. That would have been a great one because that would have been a touchdown. But ifs and buts and candies and nuts, right? We'd all be having Merry Christmas. So I don't know. They just got to go deep. I don't know where these quotes come from my head, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm all over the place. It's just weather, man. Enough with the rain, for dang sake. I'm tired of rain.
Yeah, well, you know what? We got a good dose of heat this past week. But of course, the hottest you will find is game day after dark as we fire up the bonfire, and you all will join us on the post-game show. Chris, another area I wanted to talk to you about is special teams. I feel like week 3, Winnipeg made strides. I think they covered on kick teams so much better than they did the first 2 weeks of the season. And Chris Smith, who will remain at kick and punt returners. Myron Mitchell got a few games. We're going to go with Chris Smith for a second straight week. We'll handle that. And I feel, I understand that the one nice return he had against the BC Lions was brought back due to penalty. But I think he's got a nice little punch in his step.
Yeah.
Special teams are going to be an important one in Calgary.
To me, it was a glimpse of what you can get from this guy. You know what? If they all work together, he has the ability to find holes. He's one of those guys, and they always say a good returner has to make the first guy miss. And that's what's the truth. And so Chris Smith, I think, has that capability. And if we get guys in there, we limit the penalties. Winnipeg is doing one thing really well. They are still number 1 in the least amount of times penalized. So they're getting that. They're smart that way. And I like Chris Smith. I liked him when I saw him. Nothing against Myron Mitchell. I just think he gave a guy, a couple opportunities. And you know what? If he's not getting it done, you got to try, you got to try something new and somebody new. And I think they did that. I'm glad they brought Chris Smith back. I know he's banged up a little bit, but it's like when Brady as a backup last week, and all of a sudden he gets in there and is Brady of the old. He just ran the ball hard. He looked good. Stiff arm. Nice stiff arm to the helmet of another guy trying to tackle him. Yeah. I like to see that stuff, man.
I want to encourage everybody. And we got like almost 600 people watching live right now across all our platforms. I couldn't get the Instagram live going, so missing out on some people there. But you all know, head over to youtube.com/bonfiresports. Find us on your podcast app. be sure to comment and give a thumbs up, or don't thumbs up. Do not hit the thumbs up button. I misspoke. Please do not do that. 39 people have already been very bad. They've hit the thumbs up. Don't do it. We don't want that. It's free to do. It helps us out a lot, but don't do it.
Reverse psychology. Maybe that's what you should have been.
No, it's not reverse.
Did you have a degree in that? Do you have a degree in psychology?
No, I don't.
Well, I thought that was pretty good. Yeah,
I studied geography in university. Didn't finish.
Is that right? Well, that's so you could just find your way home.
I finished my major in geography. I didn't want to do like the pre-17th century literature for my English minor. So I never got my university degree, but I went to college. I got my journalism diploma.
Well, you're good at journalism. I agree with that.
I don't know. That's the debatable one.
The geography, I'm not sure what you use that for. Maybe just to find your way home after you had a couple of cold ones.
It's to find you, because you haven't invited me out to the lake yet.
Well, you wouldn't have missed nothing today, but I'll be going out. It's a long weekend, another great game. People get to watch the Bombers on TV tomorrow against the Stamps, and hopefully start off that long weekend. It starts today, but today's Friday. Start off, when you don't work anymore, you lose track of days, man. But I think it'll be a great way to emphasize a beautiful long weekend. It's supposed to be decent weather. The rain's stopping. It looks like it stopped almost now, but it's windy as heck, man. But anyway, I'll go away from that. I'm looking forward to this game. To your point, DB, as I ramble on, as I do, the O-line to me have to have a better game. And a D-line to me is to where I really need to see a step up. I thought the O-line wasn't bad. The way they're running the ball, they're opening up holes, as you saw in that Brady Oliveira run to the 1 yard line before Streveler took it in. But the D-line, I don't know how much pressure they got on Vernon Adams. I understand he's a scrambler. But Jake is throwing the ball extremely well. Like I said, anytime you have a quarterback after 2 games throwing at 80%, that's pretty scary. He's throwing the ball. And he's got some receivers, man. Mark and Mitchell. They like this Cam Eccles kid. Made some nice catches. And then you got Reggie Beggington, Jalen Philpott, twin brother of that Tyson, who's just knocking it out of the park in Montreal.
Clark Barnes for the Stampeders.
Clark Barnes, yeah. Look at this guy run. I mean, I tell you, I just love it.
Yeah, these some highlights from last week. What do you see here, Chris, as an offensive lineman? Winnipeg's bringing a lot of pressure on VA, and he finds a way to beat it.
Well, it's a pre-snap read. Pre-snap. Well, it's a pre-snap read. Quick it out. He sees it. They're bringing the blitz on the right-hand side. There you see 19, Kyrie Wilson. 29 is out there too as well.
And look at
They're
Willie.
Bringing the blitz. And Willie's going inside. He always gets him.
Well, look at the snap. Look at the snap. Yeah. The snap goes towards Willie Jefferson coming off the edge. VA's like, whoop, better get it out quick. And he does.
And that is, look at the guy, but back that up a little bit. If you don't mind me, can you back it up again? Watch the guy behind the quick. He throws it. He has to get rid of it. If he's got time, look at the guy behind this receiver. Look at the guy going to the end zone. And stop it right there. Look at the other guy, number 80, whatever. He's wide open. There's nobody within 15 yards of the guy. 83.
Well, Winnipeg's bringing. Look at this.
Yeah. Well, that's
look at
if
this.
Willie's not there. If Willie's not there, it's another touchdown. Look at 34 sneaking across the middle.
Chris, you got Willie J. You got Retta Cramdy, your dime backer, and you got 29. Forgive me. That's Marquise Bridges, the halfback who was filling in for Dietrich Nichols. They're all right here in Vernon Adams' kitchen. So, no kidding. There's nobody out there.
Well,
they're all coming to the quarterback.
He got rid of the football, which is a plus. But I'll tell you right now, had he had time, he had 2 options, and it would have been a touchdown.
Hey, that's who caught that pass? Travis Fulham for the BC Lions. He was released by BC this week. And
he dropped 3 balls. He dropped 3 balls in that game, and he fumbled.
And I think he had 8 targets. He had 8 targets, 3 catches, and a fumble. So the BC Lions cut him. Mike O'Shea asked about some of the free agents out there and bringing in some help at receiver. And that was one of the reasons why I said the guys in the building are the best option. It's because as Mike O'Shea points out, it takes 3 or 4 weeks for a player to learn the playbook and get themselves acclimated. Not everybody's a 10-year vet. And it's like, no problem. A lot of the free agents out there are young guys that haven't played a lot of CFL football. You know,
Okay,
and look, Lucky Whitehead and Carlton Agadosi, there's a reason those guys aren't in the league. Yeah. There's a reason. Okay.
But you echoed one point that's very good. You're talking about how you have to get reps and learn the Do you think, you know what, usually when you have an offense and a defense, you run defensive scale and you run offensive scale and you run defensive team, offensive team. What happens when you're running defensive team, all these guys like Jeremy Murphy, Josh Johnson, Ontario Wilson, they're running as an offense of the opposite team. Mm-hmm. They're giving looks because they're not putting your starters into that. But so they don't have they haven't had a ton of reps with the starting offense, is what I'm saying. To your point, there's potential for a lot of good things to happen and for a lot of nasty things to happen. So that's what I want to see when I see these new guys come in.
Here's the pardon me, I'm getting a little squirrely here.
You are squirrely.
That is really squirrely.
That was a fumble by Fulham, I think. Yeah.
There you go. This was the fumble by Fulham.
Yeah. I think this is where I yelled out the coach, cut him.
Well,
I really was. I was watching this. I watched this. Yeah.
And who is that? Marquise Bridges making that play happen. We'll see it in the replay here coming up in a second.
Yeah, it's a nice job of coming back and swatting at the ball.
Here he
right
is,
here.
29. Yeah. This is Marquise Bridges' first CFL game. Great job to punch it out.
Yeah.
Like you attack with the arms, right?
Yeah, but you want to make sure there's a saying. You always want to try and knock the ball out, but not at the sake of missing the tackle.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. Fulham's holding the ball high and tight. Well, I guess not tight, but he's holding it high. Really, yeah. He's got it out here like a loaf of bread, but he gets it up.
Well, I think Reddy Cramdy gave him a little offset when he hit him in the leg and he lost balance, but still, that was a big play for the Bomber defense.
Right there. Yeah. Real nice play.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up this one too. This is Winnipeg. Oh, different one. Hang on a second. Oh, I wanted to show this one, Chris. This one I know you'll love. You'll love this one. Here's BC using a tight end.
Yeah, I see the tight end here.
And here's Andrew Pearson, 300 pounds, catching a pass, picking up the yak yards. You got to like that, Chris. Big boy catch.
Look at the size of his thighs too, boy. He ain't missed a free meal in a long time.
Well, I thought you didn't like him being called fat. Now you're talking about missed a free meal.
Well, yeah, you got to eat, man. But I mean, this is a great job. You see this in the NFL. You see a lot in the CFL too. See how he checks? I always say, he's got good hands, but Vernon's got, how much time does Vernon Adams have here? He's going to the right. He's going to the right. He's going to the right. Watch this.
Count it.
He's going right. He's looking to the right. He's looking to the right. Now he's looking to the middle. Now he goes all the way back to his check valve, his release valve, wide open. I would have loved to see Pearson do the old hop over and run in a touchdown. I would have probably had 2 beers in his honor.
Love being able to chop up these plays with the legend Chris Walby.
Yeah, this is a nice part of it to show stuff. But we're going to start doing now too, and I think we should do it next week. And I'm just throwing it out there as the fans are and the people are on the comment. We should probably put a couple of the team we're playing.
Yeah,
couple that happened from the game before, and a couple on the team we're playing from their last game. Stuff to watch for. I think that'd be a nice little stuff.
I'll pull that up. I wanted to show this.
Yeah.
Why Brady Oliveira is so dang good. Oh, that's the wrong one there.
Well, that's a good one to have. That's a good one to have. That's Pure, right? Pure Fitness.
That's right. Yeah, Pure Lifestyle. Medical clinic, too. We'll talk about them in just a second. Watch Brady Oliveira here. Okay? There's contact. Chugs, chugs, chugs. The legs just do not stop. It's incredible to watch how... I don't know what the word is, like it's effective. It's physical. It's relentless.
He's got a good motor. He keeps the legs churning. It's exactly what you want to do. The O-line is doing a nice job. Pat Neufeld, right? I love Patty 53 staying on his block. There's another guy that's taking on 66. He's going to sandwich him right at the end here.
You can see Brady's dead to rights right here. And the legs, he's driving.
Yeah. Lofton takes him right down. That's a really nice job.
Yeah. Yeah. A reason why Brady Oliveira, here's his numbers from last season: 1,500 yards, 9 rushing touchdowns, 7 100-yard games, and 2,000 yards from scrimmage. All of those led the league or were tied for the league lead. Rush TDs, obviously.
And how about the
quarterbacks?
There's a stat that's not on that list, and it's even better. When you feed Brady the ball and he gets 100 yards or anything over 100 yards, the Bombers are 10-0. They don't lose. There's a stat to put in your hat and smoke. I'm telling you right now, that's a good one.
More people talking about the young guys on the back end. Marquise Bridges played his first game. Terell Bonds has been playing corner for the Blue Bombers on defense. And I wanted to pull up this play against Vernon Adams Jr., where he plays the ball perfectly. And he doesn't do it in the traditional way where you break up a pass in front of the receiver. He gets around Alexander Hollins. And look at that white glove right on Holland's shoulder. Yeah. Gets the ball out.
He timed it perfectly. He goes too quick, it's interference. You see there just almost a little tug in the back of the jersey.
That's a
but he pulls his hand back. Yeah, it's good. It's exactly what you want to do. He's either quicker or later. One's a catch, one's interference. He just played that perfectly.
Yeah. And the hand fighting, the jersey pulling, those sorts of things. Here's a good, nice wide look of the play where Vernon Adams, again, has way too much time in the pocket and nearly finds his number one receiver for a touchdown. Watch right there. This is what I meant by the hand fighting and the jersey pulling. Watch Terell Bonds. Look at him. He's grabbing the hip right there. And then he's saying,
he's not. He's actually
there's a
tug. There's a tug. There's a tug.
Just enough, though, Chris, to not get penalized. He doesn't really pull him. It's just enough to say, hey, I'm here. Watch. That's it. Subtle.
Yeah. Well, he wants to keep the hand on the hip as he's running down the line. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, because then you can keep your eyes on the football. Terell Bonds, I think, has been very good for the Blue Bombers.
The other thing is he's playing the ball. If you don't turn to the ball and you're just playing the player, it's going to be called every time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that he turned his head, they found the ball, great job of putting his left hand in there, knocking the ball down. Really good job, yeah.
Yeah. Last one I'll show.
More?
One more. Smack of the week.
Let's go to show special teams.
Boom. Shane Gauthier, like a truck.
Yeah, Shane.
Absolutely blows up Terry Vaughn.
Shane the train. Yeah, I like that too. That's good, man.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about that is that's the kind of stuff from special teams that fires your team up.
Look how clean that hit is. Watch this, Chris. Nice shoulder. Leads with the shoulder. Perfect hit.
Head across the body. That's exactly what you want. Yeah. Don't want the head inside. You want the head across.
Yeah. Watching that again at full speed. Thing of beauty. This is the best part of the CFL compared to the NFL. Real special teams.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Love it.
It's a great replay.
Chris, let's get into, well, you know what? First things first. Let's pull up our friends at Pure Lifestyle. Just huge thanks to them for helping support the channel. Pure is Winnipeg's premier proactive healthcare facility, advancing healthcare excellence. Whether you got a strain, a sprain, a break, or a cut, Pure's got you covered with their minimal wait time, minor injury walk-in clinic, whether it's the job site injury or sports-related pain or whatever it is. Pure's new medical facilities have in-house x-ray, casting, stitches, and everything else you need to get you back to enjoying summer in no time. Strength and conditioning, occupational health, physical health, mental health, wellness, exercise, dietitians, kinesiologists. They got you covered top to bottom. Check them out at 1129 Empress Street. Just by Garbage Hill, just north of Polo Park. You can find more information, purewinnipeg.com. And that new minor injury walk-in clinic is just a great place to avoid the long wait times at the ER or at Pan Am or wherever you might go if you get a little nicked up this summer. Maybe you're in rough shape like the Bombers are in the injury department right now.
Ooh, baby.
Okay, keys to the game, Chris. Let's hear it.
Well, I'm telling you what, I think we've covered most of these things in our podcast. You're talking about it, but in first down production, I believe that Brady needs to be the main factor in this game because of the new receivers. He's got to touch the ball at least 15 to 20 times, either on the ground, but a majority on the ground. Stretch the field. I do not play in this dink and dunk football. I want to stretch the field, make those DBs run. And you got to, for God's sakes, you got to put more than 3 points up in the first quarter. Defense, you got to create turnovers. You only got 2 so far. And stop the big explosion plays. They're the worst in the league for giving up 30-plus yards. They've given up 7 already. And special teams, I think you just showed with that great hit by Goche, win the field position battle. And you need a lift from the special teams. And that's either covering or returning. Let's see a big game, not only covering, a big return game from Chris Smith, and let's get the field position back in our honor.
Back in what?
Back in our honor. I meant to say, I know I said our honor. I thought I was in court again.
Yeah, I honestly didn't mean to draw attention to it, Chris, if it was a fly.
No, it's good.
I was like, did I miss
I could have said that, your honor. Well, maybe because I think you're the judge. You're the judge. You're Judge Darrin DB.
Oh, no. No.
And I'm the plaintiff.
That probably. Yeah. But you're definitely no felon. Just on the football field.
No, I'm a fill-in felon.
You're filling. Okay.
I got some wings.
What do you got planned for the weekend, brother?
Lake tomorrow. I got to get out of here, man. Kids back from northern Alberta. We're going to work on the dock, maybe even put the boat in. But this weather is kind of foregoing me on that. But I'd like to get the boat in to go for boat cruise. And then one day we'll get you when it's nice. When we get a break, I'll get you to come out to the lake and you can come and enjoy our life.
I'm down with that. As long as we can watch.
You know what?
Vicky
Short read my mind.
Oh, come on. Garbage Hill is a Winnipeg landmark.
I know, but it just sounds so detrimental. It's like, you know what? Come on down to the ghetto. We're going to have a great time, man.
No, it's not. You know why Garbage Hill is a great place? It's because it's a park. And you can, if tons of people are working out there, they're running the hill.
Wintertime, you used to go down tobogganing?
Yeah, of course.
The problem is you didn't stop till you hit the fence. It was not a safe place. Yeah. But I think you're right. It's on Milt. Is that Milt Stegall Drive?
No.
I think it might be. No, it's not. Okay, another plug for Milt again. Jeez.
Yeah.
You better send me some money. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was funny. She said, no, Garbage Hill, another landmark. I don't know what other landmarks out there, to be honest with you.
This is something important I'll mention first. Huge thanks to our sponsors who help us here. Pure Lifestyle, purewinnipeg.com, scotswoodlinks.com. But if you want to get your message out, there's no better place than right here on Bonfire Sports. And why is that? Well, for example, we're live right now. We've got over 600 people watching. Chris Walby, Chop It Up, the CFL legend himself, giving his insight, his analysis, and his perspective from nearly 2 decades as a player, nearly 2 decades as an analyst and broadcaster. I've got feature interviews with players, all types of great stuff up here on the channel. We got Winnipeg Jet stuff coming too. So with hundreds live and thousands more listening to the podcast and watching the videos afterwards on Facebook and Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, this is an excellent place for you to get your message out. So if you want your message here to thousands of people, reach out. You can call the Bonfire hotline, 204-816-TIPS, 816-8477, or you can email wpgsports@gmail.com. I think you can also email winnipeg@bonfiresports.ca. Hope that's not too many addresses for you, but we're looking for some more sponsorship to help continue providing this product to all of the passionate sports fans out there that join us every single week. Biggest thanks to you, everybody out there who have not hit that thumbs up button. Don't do it. You'd ruin Chris Walby's day. It's already raining. Don't do that. Don't do
I think
that.
it stopped raining. So bring a little joy in our life. And like I said, I think it'll be a great game. I think it's going to be a good game tomorrow. I think it'll be fun to watch. You know what? Last week I just kind of felt something about BC. I got a feeling tomorrow the Bombers are going to get it done. So I'm going with the Bombers finally, and I just want to say it. So that's what I'm saying, man.
Got to get off.
I'm just doing it, baby.
Yeah.
I'm not being a homer this time because last time I picked BC, and just because my gut, and it's not that big anymore. But I just had that feeling. So
everything's relative, Chris. Everything's relative, right?
Oh, that's not helping me much. You're saying, "Oh, well, just got big. I got a big gut now," or what?
Because I hear you say those things, and then I watch your wife's eyes bury themselves in the back of her head.
Oh, come on, man. All right, listen. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the long weekend, everybody. It was great to be on the air again with you, buddy. I will say this one last thing. As the summer comes more and it gets hotter and hotter, we definitely need to get a brewery on board.
Yes,
as a sponsor. And I made TransCanada, maybe Brazier. What's that one down by where it used to be the downtown on Pembina by Stafford? Round Table, the old Round Table.
Oh, Brazen Hall.
Brazen Hall. And he's another Viking that owns it too. So Christoph, I think. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. And enjoy the weekend, DB. Hope you have a great time. And we'll check with you later. And go Blue.
Should be a fun one, everybody. We'll see you next time.